The Lotus Sutra, Chapter 19, The Blessings of the Dharma Teacher. Then the Buddha said to the Bodhisattva Constant Effort, the Great One, "If any good sons or good daughters receive and embrace this Dharma Flower Sutra, or read it, or recite it, or explain it, or copy it, they will obtain 800 blessings of the eyes, 1,200 blessings of the ears, 800 blessings of the nose, 1,200 blessings of the tongue, 800 blessings of the body, and 1,200 blessings of the mind. With these blessings they will adorn the 6 faculties, making all of them pure." Such good sons or good daughters, with the pure physical eyes received from their parents at birth, will see whatever exists, whether exposed or hidden, in the 3,000 great thousandfold world, the mountains, forests, rivers, and seas, down to the deepest purgatory and up to the highest heaven. They will see all the living beings in it, and recognize both all of the causes and conditions, and all of the effects and consequences resulting from their past actions. Then the world-honored one, wanting to say what he meant once again, spoke in verse. "If anyone in the great assembly fearlessly teaches this Dharma Flower Sutra, here are the blessings they will receive. They will gain 800 blessings of superior vision. Because of these adornments, their eyes will be completely pure. With the eyes received from their parents at birth, they will see the whole 3,000-fold world, the exposed and the hidden Mount Meru, Mount Sumeru, the Iron Circle Mountains, and all the other mountains and forests, as well as the waters of the great seas, rivers and streams, down to the deepest purgatory and up to the highest heaven. They will see all the living beings within that world. Though not yet having divine vision, their physical eyes will have this kind of power. What's more, Constant Effort, if any good sons or good daughters receive and embrace this sutra, read or recite it, or explain or copy it, they will obtain 1,200 blessings of the ears. With pure ears, they will hear all the various words and sounds in the 3,000 great thousandfold world, whether exposed or hidden, down to the deepest purgatory and up to the highest heaven. Elephant sounds, horse sounds, cattle sounds, sounds of carriages, sounds of weeping, sounds of lamentation, conch sounds, drum sounds, gong sounds, bell sounds, sounds of laughter, sounds of conversation, sounds of men and women, sounds of boys and girls, sounds of the righteous and the unrighteous, sounds of suffering and of delight, sounds of common people and of holy people, happy and unhappy sounds, sounds of gods, sounds of dragons, of satyrs and centaurs, of asuras and griffins, of chimeras and pythons, sounds of fire, sounds of water, sounds of wind, sounds from those in purgatories, sounds of animals, of hungry spirits, of monks and nuns, of Shravakas and Pracheka Buddhas, of Bodhisattvas and of Buddhas. In sum, though they have not yet obtained divine ears, whatever sounds there are in the 3,000 great thousandfold world, whether exposed or hidden, they will hear and understand them with the normal pure ears they received at birth from their parents. And while they will be able to distinguish all these various sounds, their ability to hear will not be harmed. Then the world-honored one, wanting to say what he meant once again, spoke in verse. The ears received at birth from one's parents are pure and unpolluted. With these ordinary ears, you can hear the sounds of the 3,000-fold world, sounds of elephants, horses, carriages, and oxen, sounds of gongs, bells, conches, and drums, sounds of lutes and harps, of pipes and flutes, sounds of pure and lovely songs. You can hear all these without becoming attached to them. You can hear the sounds of countless kinds of people and understand all of them. You can hear the sounds of heavenly beings, the singing of fine and wonderful voices. You can hear the voices of men and women, and the voices of boys and girls as well. In mountains, streams, and gorges, the sounds of kalavinkas, jiva, kajivakas, and other birds, all such sounds can be heard. The pains of the multitudes in purgatory, and the sounds of their suffering, the sounds of hungry spirits driven by hunger and thirst, searching for something to eat and drink, and asuras and others living by ocean shores, when talking together or emitting loud cries, can all be heard. Dharma preachers such as this, dwelling at peace with them, hear all these sounds from the distance without doing harm to their ability to hear. In the worlds in all directions, birds and beasts cry and call to one another, and a Dharma preacher hears them all from here. From all the Brahma heavens and above, the light sound or the universal purity heaven, or from the highest heaven, sounds of conversations can all be heard by a Dharma teacher living here. All the many monks and all the nuns, reading or reciting sutras, or teaching them for others, can all be heard by the Dharma teacher living here. What's more, voices of bodhisattvas can be heard, reading or reciting the teachings of sutras, or teaching them for others, selecting passages and explaining their meaning. The Buddhas, the great saints and honored ones, the teachers and transformers of living beings, preaching the wonderful Dharma in their great assemblies, can all be heard by one who embraces this Dharma flower. In the 3,000 great thousandfold world, sounds exposed or hidden, down to the deepest purgatory and up to the highest heaven, can all be heard without doing harm to one's ability to hear. And because their hearing is sharp, they can analyze and know everything. One who embraces this Dharma flower, though not yet having divine ears, with the ears with which they were born, already has such blessings as these. Moreover, constant effort, if any good sons or good daughters receive and embrace this sutra, read, recite, explain, or copy it, they will attain 800 blessings of the nose. Their ability to smell will be purified, so that they will be able to smell all kinds of fragrances in the upper and lower, inner and outer parts of the 3,000-fold great thousandfold world, the fragrances of sumana flowers, jatika flowers, malika flowers, gardenia flowers, patala flowers, red lotus flowers, blue lotus flowers, white lotus flowers, flowering trees, fruit trees, sandalwood, aloes, tamalapatras, and tagaras, and incense blended from tens of millions of materials, powdered incense, incense pellets, and paste incense. Anyone who embraces this sutra while living here will be able to distinguish all of these. What's more, he or she will be able to distinguish the odors of living beings, of elephants, horses, cattle, sheep, of men, women, boys and girls, and of plants, trees, bushes, and woods. Whether near or far, whatever odor there is, they will smell them all and distinguish among them without mistake. One who embraces this sutra, though living here, will also detect the odors of the gods in the heavens, of parijata and kovidara trees, of mandarava flowers and great mandarava flowers, Manjushaka and great Manjushaka flowers, of sandalwoods and aloes, and of many kinds of powdered incense made of a mixture of flowers, all such heavenly fragrances, and those from which they are mixed, such a person will never fail to smell and recognize. And he or she will smell the scents of the bodies of gods, the scent of Indra, Devendra in his great palace, indulging the 5 desires and amusing himself, or the scent of when he is in his hall of the wonderful Dharma, preaching the Dharma to the gods of the Triya Strimsha heaven, or when he walks around in his gardens for pleasure. Also, from a distance, such a person will detect the scents of the bodies of the other male and female gods. Up to the Brahma heaven and up to the highest heaven, such a person will smell all the secrets of the bodies of the gods. What's more, he or she will smell the incense burned by the gods and the scents of Shravakas, of Pracheka Buddhas, of Bodhisattvas, and of the bodies of Buddhas. He or she will smell all of them from afar and know where they live. Though they smell all these scents, their ability to smell will not be harmed or impaired, and if they wish to describe such scents to others, they will be able to remember them without making mistakes. Then the world-honored one, wanting to proclaim this teaching once again, spoke in verse. The noses of such people will be so pure, they will be able to smell and identify all kinds of odors, fragrant or bad, throughout this world. Sumana and Jatika, Tamalapatra and sandalwood, aloes and cassia, and aromas of various flowers and fruit. They will know aromas of living beings, aromas of men and women. Though living far away, a preacher knows well where they are by scent. Powerful wheel-turning kings, minor wheel-turners and their children, their ministers and attendants, where they are can be well known by scent. The jewels they wear on their bodies, their treasures stored in the ground, the jeweled queens of wheel-turning kings, where they are can be well known by scent. From the jewelry adorning people, their clothes and necklaces, and the perfumes they use, who they are can be well known by scent. Whether the gods walk or sit, play or use their magical powers, those who uphold this Dharma flower can know all of this by scent. From the scents of flowering trees and fruit, and the fragrance of butter oil, those who embrace this Dharma flower living here know well where they are. In deep and steep mountain gorges, where sandalwood trees blossom, and living beings live among them, one can know all by scent. On the Iron Circle Mountains, in the great seas, and in the ground are living beings. One who embraces this sutra knows well where they are by scent. When male and female asuras and all their tribes of followers quarrel or play together, one is able to know it by scent. On the prairies and in narrow places are lions, elephants, tigers, wolves, buffalo and water buffalo. One can know where they are by scent. If a woman is pregnant and cannot tell whether the child is male or female, defective or less than human, one can know by scent. By the power of smell, one can know when a woman has just become pregnant, whether her pregnancy will be successful or not, and whether she will have a safe and healthy delivery. By the power of smell, the thoughts of men and women can be known, their greedy desires, stupidity and anger, and whether they are doing good can also be known. The treasures stored in the earth, gold, silver, and rare treasures, heaped in copper vessels, can all be known by scent. all sorts of necklaces of value beyond knowing what they are worth, where they came from, and where they are now, can all be known by scent. The flowers in the heavens, Mandaravas, Manjushakas, and Parijata trees can all be known by scent. The palaces in the heavens, upper, middle, or lower, decorated with precious flowers, can all be known by scent. The heavenly gardens, groves, and superb palaces, the studies and wonderful Dharma halls, and those who enjoy them, can all be known by scent. Whether the gods listen to the Dharma, or indulge in the 5 desires, coming, going, walking, sitting, or lying down, can all be known by scent. The robes worn by goddesses, adorned with beautiful flowers and perfumes, and when they dance about for enjoyment, can all be known by scent. Extending one's sense of smell up to the Brahma heavens, those entering or emerging from meditation can all be known by scent. Who is in the light sound heaven, or universally pure heaven, or the highest heaven, from birth to death, can all be known by scent. The whole group of monks, always persevering for the Dharma, whether sitting or walking around, reading or reciting a sutra, or devoting their energies to meditation beneath trees in the forest, one who embraces this sutra knows where they all are by scent. Whether firm-willed bodhisattvas are in meditation, reading a sutra, or preaching the Dharma to others, can all be known by scent. The world-honored ones in all directions, revered and respected by all, who preach the Dharma out of sympathy for all, can all be known by scent. The living who in a Buddha's presence hear the sutra and rejoice together, and act in accord with the Dharma, can all be known by scent. Though not yet having the nose of a bodhisattva, who has attained the flawless Dharma, those who uphold the sutra will first have the kind of nose described here. Further, constant effort, if any good sons or good daughters receive and embrace this sutra, and either read, recite, explain, or copy it, they will gain 1,200 blessings of the tongue. Whether something is pleasant or unpleasant, tasty or not, bitter or astringent, whenever it is on their tongues, it will change into something delicious, like nectar from heaven, and there will be nothing that is unpleasant about it. If one's tongue is used to preach in the assembly, it will produce a deep and wonderful voice that can enter into hearts, giving people pleasure and joy. And when sons and daughters of heaven, Indra, Brahma, and the other gods, hear this deep and wonderful voice speaking so clearly, they will all come and listen. Male and female dragons, male and female satyrs, male and female centaurs, male and female asuras, male and female griffins, male and female chimeras, and male and female pythons will all come to hear the Dharma and to associate with, revere, and make offerings to such a person. Monks and nuns, laymen and laywomen, kings and princes with their ministers and followers, and minor and great wheel-turning kings with their 7 treasures, their 1,000 princes, and with their inner and outer followings, all will come riding in their palaces to listen to the Dharma. Because such bodhisattvas preach the Dharma so well, Brahmins, citizens, and people from all over the land will follow, wait on, and make offerings to them for the rest of their lives. And Shravakas, Pracheka Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Buddhas will always be delighted to see them. Wherever such people live, the Buddhas will all face in that direction when preaching, and such bodhisattvas will be able to receive and embrace all of the Buddha Dharma. They will also make the deep and wonderful sounds of the Dharma. Then the world-honored one, wanting to proclaim this teaching once again, spoke in verse. Because the tongues of such people are pure, they will never experience bad tastes. Whatever they eat, it will become like nectar. With pure, deep, wonderful voices, they will teach the Dharma in the assembly. With various causal explanations and parables, they will lead the living. All who hear them will rejoice and make the best of offerings. Gods, dragons, satyrs, asuras, and others will approach them together in reverence to hear the Dharma. If people who preach the Dharma like this want to make their wonderful voices fill 3,000 worlds, they will be able to do so at will. Great and minor wheel-turning kings, with their thousands of children and servants, palms together in reverence, will always come to hear and receive the Dharma. Gods, dragons, and satyrs, and ogres and man-eating goblins, also with joyful hearts, will always enjoy bringing offerings. Brahma, king of heaven, the king of devils, freedom, great freedom, and all such heavenly beings will always come to where they are. Buddhas and their disciples, hearing the sound of such preaching of the Dharma, will always keep them in mind and protect them, at times revealing themselves for their sake. What's more constant effort, if any good sons or good daughters receive and embrace this sutra, or if they read it, or if they recite it, or if they teach it, or if they copy it, they will obtain 800 blessings of the body, including a pure body, pure as lapis lazuli, which all the living delight to see. Because of the purity of their bodies, the living beings of the 3,000 great thousandfold world, as they are born or die, whether as superior or inferior, fine or ugly, or in good or bad places, all will be reflected in these bodies. The Iron Circle Mountains, Great Iron Circle Mountains, Mount Meru, Mount Great Meru, and other kings among mountains, and the living beings on them, will all be reflected in these bodies. Down to the deepest purgatory, and up to the highest heaven, all things and living beings will be reflected in these bodies. Shravakas, Pracheka Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Buddhas preaching the Dharma will all have their forms and images reflected in these bodies. Then the world-honored one, wanting to express this teaching once again, spoke in verse. If someone embraces the Dharma Flower Sutra, their body will become completely pure, like one of lapis lazuli. All the living will delight to see it. As in a pure, bright mirror, every image will be reflected. Bodhisattvas in their pure bodies will see everything in the world. They alone will see clearly what others do not see. The whole multitude of beings in the 3,000-fold world, human and heavenly beings, asuras, beings in purgatories, spirits, animals, all such forms and images will be reflected in their bodies. The palaces of the gods up to the highest heaven, Iron Circle and Meru Mountains, Mount Great Meru, and great oceans and bodies of water will be reflected in their bodies. Buddhas and Shravakas and children of the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, whether alone or preaching for multitudes, all will be reflected. Though not yet having a flawless, wonderful Dharma nature body, in their pure, ordinary bodies, everything will be reflected. Furthermore, constant effort, if any good sons or good daughters, after the extinction of the Tathagata, receive and embrace this sutra, or read it, recite it, preach it, or copy it, they will obtain 1,200 blessings of the mind. When they hear even a single verse or phrase with their pure minds, they will deeply understand its innumerable and unlimited meanings. Having understood those meanings, they will be able to preach on that single phrase or verse for a month, 4 months, even a year, and their many teachings will be in accord with the meanings and never contrary to the true nature of reality. If they teach about some secular text, or speak about the political world, or about matters related to livelihood, in every case they will do so in accord with the true Dharma. They will know all the workings of the minds, the movements of the minds, and the foolishness in the minds of the beings in the 6 states of the 3,000 great thousandfold world. Though not yet having attained flawless wisdom, their minds will have the kind of purity that whatever they think, plan, or speak will all be in accord with the truth of the Buddha Dharma and with what previous Buddhas have taught in the Sutras. Then the world-honored one, wanting to say what he meant once again, spoke in verse. The minds of these people will be pure, lucid, keen, and unsullied. With such wonderful minds, they will know all things, high, low, and in between. Hearing even a single verse, they will understand deeply its innumerable meanings and teach them in proper order and in accord with the Dharma for a month, 4 months, or a year. Whatever all the living beings of the inner and outer parts of this world, gods, dragons, human beings, satyrs, demons, spirits, and others, those in the 6 states are thinking, will be known instantly as a reward by those who embrace the Dharma flower. They will hear, receive, and embrace the Dharma preached for all the living, preached by the innumerable Buddhas of the universe with 100 signs of good fortune. They will ponder the innumerable meanings, preach the Dharma innumerable times, and never forget or make a mistake, because they embrace the Dharma flower. Knowing the characteristics of all things, knowing their proper order according to their meaning, comprehending names and words, they will preach about them as they know them. Whatever they preach, it will always be the Dharma of previous Buddhas, and because they proclaim this Dharma, they will have no fear in the assembly. Anyone who embraces the Dharma Flower Sutra has this kind of pure mind. Though not yet flawless, they will first have these characteristics. Those embracing this sutra, dwelling at peace on rare ground, are cherished, respected, and enjoyed by all living beings. With tens of millions of good, skillful words, they are able to analyze and preach because they embrace the Dharma Flower Sutra.